He's bringing in $1 million per year with an opportunity anyone can take. I brought Matt out to New York City to see what his business is, his strategy for growing it, and audit the mindset that's gotten him this far.
It's just all about working towards goals that I set. I like to set, high goals.
So what are you capable of?
I think I can do anything that I set my mind to.
This episode gets intense. How are you going to go and target those people if you don't even know what you're targeting? But you will learn more than any other business podcast on the internet. There's nothing good or bad about money. It thinks nothing of you. So there's nothing good or bad about that number. But what does it mean to you? What actually attracted you to Auburn? Normally, I would say that people were going for the football and the party culture, or not maybe party culture, but the that environment.
Yeah, I kind of figured out I wanted to do finance. Their finance is pretty good. Their business school's pretty good in general. Honestly, it was pictures of the campus online.
It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah, and that's honestly what attracted me to it. To initially think about it.
So the business that you're in is a family business.
It's my dad's, yeah. My mom's not involved.
And so your dad's business, and you didn't want to finish college, but you had pressure to do so. Where did that pressure come from?
My mom. She did the corporate ladder route, and she's very successful in it. So I think that's what she believes in, and she was always backup option. I know you're not gonna,
So your mom did not want you to go into the family business.
No, we knew that's what I was going to do. And
so how, at what point did you know hey, I'm going to go into the family business?
It was always on the radar, but it wasn't until probably the beginning of my senior year at Auburn that I was this is what I want to do.
Okay. So when you went to Auburn, you didn't want to finish college. At least I'm putting words in your mouth, but
yeah.
I think you told me when we were talking that you did a couple of years, played lacrosse, and thought you didn't want to finish college.
Yeah.
Your mother put pressure on you to finish college. If you were not going to finish college, what were you going to do?
Well, I had 2 businesses by then that I've tried and that sort of thing, and I've always known I wanted to go the business route.
What was your first business?
I tried doing online fitness coaching. Yeah. So I joined a kind of a community that does online fitness trainers. But it was a big entry fee to join the community, and it was a big thing for me. I made I tried posting content for a few months. I tried to do it every day. I got probably 2 customers that paid once. So that was a bigger fail. But then the next thing that I did was the summer before I went to Auburn, I had a mobile detailing business with a good friend of mine.
For cars?
Yeah. Yeah. So we, basically I bought all this equipment, to do the car detailing, but then we basically started putting flyers out. We went on Canva, made some flyers, drove around, put them in people's mailboxes. We made, I think over the summer, we made 10 grand in revenue, between the both of us. We were doing every job together.
How old were you?
This was 3 summers ago, so 20.
Yeah, that's good. That's good money for the summer.
Yeah, no, it was that or, go get a job or something, because I needed some money,
Yeah.
having fun and stuff like that.
So if you didn't go to Auburn as you wanted to, you were just going to start a business and become an entrepreneur. That was your plan?
Yeah, that was probably part of the problem, is that I didn't go to my parents and be hey, here's my business plan. I believe in it. Here's what I've done so far. I didn't do any of that. So it was just go to college, and I'm fortunate enough where they, have saved their whole life, or my whole life, to, be able to pay for college. So they really wanted it to happen,
Yeah. So you go to Auburn, you study finance, you graduate last year.
Yep.
What do you do?
I immediately started working with my dad. I think actually it was May 28th last year. It was my first day.
And so started working for your dad. And what is the business?
We make custom components for businesses, basically.
Custom components for businesses.
Yeah. So some of our customers, our main customers are manufacturers. So they'll need plastic or rubber components, and it's all plastic or rubber.
So it's basically inputs into an OEM product of some kind.
That's the biggest percent of our business. And then we also have 2 of our customers sell direct to customer, like commodity type stuff. So those are like 2 of our customers.
Can you give me an example of what that kind of product looks like, or like
a protective cup? So we'll basically, and it's all, that stuff's imported. So we're, essentially a middleman for, brokering deals offshore. So
basically, somebody comes to you with a demand for a certain product or component, and you find a overseas manufacturer to manufacture it. You import it,
correct,
and then sell it as the customer needs it, more or less.
Correct. Yeah, and everything, like, we're not building a stock. We'll have like a buffer stock if we know somebody's going to order something, but we're not doing any advertising or anything for these products. We're just giving them to the customer.
How much revenue did the business do last year?
Last year was 629, but our trailing 12-month is at 1,012,000.
So you almost doubled.
Yeah, and 24.
Is that because you came into the family business? Is it all?
I really like.
Are you the credit for it?
I really like to think so. I think my dad will say the same thing. But 2024, it was 380,000 was top line.
So he managed to double it without you, but then you doubled it again.
I came in. Well, I don't want to discredit my dad, but but when I came in at the end of May last year, our revenue was 194. So we basically did 400,000 in the kind of the second half of the year. And a big part of that was solving our supply chain issues. My dad's pretty old school and he doesn't like computers. So everything was on paper. We'd get a PO from a customer and it'd have a few different lines with a few different delivery dates, and he'd write down, paid the balance of this, sent this out on this date on the physical sheet of paper, and you'd have all these unorganized files and stuff like that. So one of the biggest things I did so far was basically create like a supply chain system. I don't know if you've heard of Notion, like a desktop app.
Yeah. So
created this database on there that, I have track of all the orders and everything. And we were a year late on orders before that.
And so but basically you had a big backlog of orders that you were not able to fulfill from the supplier.
Yeah, and we almost lost our biggest customer because of it, because we shut down the production line, because we were literally a year late on their products.
And what was the root cause of that?
So Chinese New Year put my dad in a bind that last year. And everything before then was kind of like 3 months late or whatever, and shipping partials, quantities of stuff that, just to get something out, put everything into the database, all open orders, all open quantities of everything, and just invest in buying the parts. We basically spent as much money as we could on getting the inventory to, fill those open orders that were late. And it worked. And the main growth of the business over time has just been companies growing, our customers growing.
And so basically the customer grows, they're buying some of their inputs from you, right, and so their demand for those inputs grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so like these are examples of the types of products that you make.
Correct.
Like what does this go into? This looks like a Lego piece.
Yeah.
To me.
So all these are for the same customer, and they are end caps for like portable wall systems.
Yeah.
So like temporary walls, like construction, whatever it is. But they go into end caps into extruded metal.
And so basically somebody is making the extruded metal in the US or making the other components of it, and they have certain components that they need a supplier for, and right, you are that supplier.
Right.
How many end customer relationships do you have? Are you managing?
14.
14
main.
And like how many new customer relationships have you brought in the last year?
So two.
So percentage wise, I mean, that's 15% or so more.
Yeah. 2 feels such a small number, but what I want to talk about is marketing because right now we basically have nothing.
Yeah. I want to get into the marketing,
yeah.
but I really want to understand business model before. That's kind of where I want to go. But then I think our goal is going to be, well, we're gonna talk about how we're going to scale this business. I think maybe that's what people will probably find the most interesting from this, anyways. You obviously can you give me a bit of history? Like, how long has your dad been in this business?
So my dad worked for his dad, so my grandpa.
So this is a third generation business.
Well, my dad split off in 2003 to start Alpine, and my grandpa was mainly a manufacturer. And my dad saw the opportunity in the import-export. So he left to do the import-export, but he had patents with one customer for manufacturing. So it kind of kept us manufacturing for this one customer. So we have those two kind of sectors of our business, which I'm not the biggest fan of.
You say your dad split off. The manufacturing business is still run by somebody else?
No, we do the manufacturing and the trade.
Okay. And so the revenue that you're talking about is inclusive of both, or it's just this business?
Right. But it's 80-90% import-export revenue.
Okay. I'm trying to get a little bit of context because, and no offense, but it's you say $300,000 of revenue or whatnot before you came in, that's not that's not a lot of revenue. So I'm trying to understand it's been in business since 2003.
Right.
Has it been kind of steady state that the whole time? Was it once much bigger and now it's smaller?
No.
Walk me through just the history.
It's been pretty steady. About 50,000 net income at the end of each year. My mom's got a very successful career, and I talked to my dad about it. And at the time, I have a sister, so when they had the two of us, it was basically my mom was making more money at the time. And so my dad, my mom was working in the city, and my dad, it was a lot easier for him to, take us back and forth to school, all that stuff. So I think the business kind of, suffered from that, but it's always kind of been supplementary income to the family, if that makes sense.
So it's almost been like a side hustle in a way.
I hate to put it that way, but my dad's been doing it for 23 years, and it's definitely a good business. It's never lost money, which is pretty cool. I think it is pretty remarkable that he's been in business for all these years, and there's been really no marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in the last year or last 12 months, you've done about $1 million of revenue. So it's gone up a lot. What kind of margins are you able to make on that $1 million of revenue?
It's 13 to 15%.
So about $150,000.
Yep.
And then how are you and your dad splitting that?
I take a salary, $400 a week. And my dad takes about $2,500 a week or a month.
So you're about $1,600 a month. He's about $2,500 a month. And the profit is on top of that, or that is the profit.
I'm paid before. He's a sole proprietor, so I'm paid, and our other employees are paid before that. And my dad takes personal expenses out of the net income.
Okay. And what is have you and your dad sat down and talked about what the future looks like with you in it?
A little bit here and there. He's very hands off with it. He's kind of put everything in my hands.
He's put everything in your hands, but he still owns the business.
Right.
And have you had the discussion with him about what that how that's going to get passed on to you, or what that looks like?
Yeah. So he's basically going to retire when my mom does, which is probably going to be in 3 years. And then, that's it from there. It's going to be my business. I'll probably, pay him a paycheck every month or something. It's more or less my business. It's our business, but I have, full control over, what happens and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think it might be a good idea for you to have a conversation with him about, the realities of how you're going to actually, make that official. And you really kind of want to do that before it becomes a problem, in the sense that, let's say we have this conversation, which we're about to have, and you take this business from $1 million to $10 million. And then at that point, but you haven't done anything, you haven't, gotten any type of an agreement or
Right.
done any
Right.
of the legal paperwork yet, then all of a sudden it becomes a much different tax problem
Right.
for everybody involved once that value has been created.
Yeah.
So, just as I think that a lot of times within families, it's very tricky because, it's like nobody, because everybody quote unquote trusts everybody else.
Right.
Then a lot of times the details never actually get discussed. And then those details are where the friction ends up happening. And so it's actually oftentimes, in my opinion, the kindest thing to do for everybody involved to be upfront about these things rather than let them fester in the background until they become a problem.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
So that would be that would just be the first. And so ironically, it's actually a lot kinder, in my opinion, to
Do it up front.
To be upfront. I mean, in any relationship, because the more honest you are up front, then the less likely you're going to end up hurting people's feelings in the end.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're much better. It's much cheaper for you to deal with those now than it is in the future. And if that's really if his intention really is to ultimately give it to you, then you can definitely come up with the structure today that allows him to still get whatever economics makes sense for the next few years. Maybe you do some type of a buyout for him that gives him the cash flows that he needs for the next few years, but gives you the ability to grow equity in what it is that you're looking to actually build, to go out and build your life.
Yeah.
That would be kind of homework number one, and I think that a lot of people actually find themselves in that situation, and within families they just don't make these discussions, and it's a worthy starting point. So, but let's go back to the business. Did $1 million in the last year, and we'll say makes $100,000 to $150,000. So that's a good starting point. What is the life that you dream of building 10 years from now? Like what does an ideal life for Matt look like?
To me, it's all about the freedom. I think I want to, have the choice to, live anywhere or, do the things that I want to do. And a lot of the stuff that I want to do is around business. But
I think we need to define it a little bit I want to push back a bit, because when it's easy to say, oh, I want freedom.
Yeah.
But like, what does that actually, like, I want to make it real. Like you're probably 22 years old now. When you're 32, like, what does your life look like?
I want to have a family.
Does your girlfriend know that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. But you have a family, and like, what do your days look like? Like
for my day, I mean, I love to get up early, work out, and I like to build something. I like to build, whether it's business or, projects, I love to build stuff, and I love to.
It's like you like working with your hands when you say build stuff, or you like
both.
Like
both.
Define that
I mean,
for me.
like building a business is fun to me. I think
What's fun about building a business?
Working towards goals that I set. That's the best thing for me. In high school, I always think back to high school playing lacrosse. I went to one of the most competitive high schools in the country for lacrosse, and it was obsessive. It's just all about working towards the goals that I set, and I like to set high goals.
Yeah, so then that's great. So I want to go back to this life that you want to build. Talk about that dream life that can ultimately become a goal, right? Like you got to know what you're working for. How much money are you making in 10 years? And what are you doing with it?
I think I agree with the statement of...
you don't want to answer my question.
Well, I think I am. I think I'm going to. I hope I will. But I think
let's just commit to answering the question.
Oh, man.
I want to get you to commit to something.
I can't even put like a number on it, because it's more about like being scared of not reaching my potential, kind of. I think I'm...
So what are you capable of?
I think I can do anything that I set my mind to. I really do. I think if I have a goal, no matter what, I'm going to hit it. I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, so that's why I believe that you have that capacity. So that's why I want to get real about what those goals are. And I think you're afraid of committing to something that because you're afraid of committing to something that you may not hit. So that's why I'm trying to get you to bring some clarity around what you want, because then we can reverse engineer how to get you there.
I feel embarrassed to say that, like, I feel like 10 million in 10 years, like that's always the number I've had in my head, but I just...
And 10 million in
revenue.
money, 10 million of revenue.
Yeah.
What scares you about that?
I just hate to say it because I feel like I'm capable of so much more, you know? And I almost feel embarrassed.
It's an embarrassingly small number.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it embarrasses you, why is like what is that go? Like there's nothing good, like money, there's nothing good or bad about money. I mean, there's no emotion with money. I mean, it thinks nothing of you. So there's nothing good or bad about that number. But like, what does it mean to you?
10 million feels small. I mean, I think I'm capable of doing that in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So then why is that your goal?
I mean, 10 million in 3 to 5 years is my goal.
So what about 10 years from now?
50. I think my...
So why didn't you answer me that before?
Oh, man, I'm just embarrassed to say it, I guess. I don't know.
You're embarrassed about 50 million now? Now 50 million is an embarrassingly small number?
No. I don't want to come off like, oh, like I can do anything kind of thing. Like, you know.
Well, I mean, so you don't want to be genuine. Because you tell me you believe you can do anything,
Fair.
but you don't want the world to know that.
Fair. I guess I gotta come out of my shell a little bit.
I think you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah. I don't think that you're worried about how people perceive you. I think you're worried that you may not actually be able, like you may be. I think you're worried that your mouth is writing checks that you're not sure you can cash. So you're worried that you may not get there. I don't think that you have the confidence that you want to that you claim to have.
No, I think it's the other way around. I think I'm shy to say it to other people, but I think I know I can do it. I think I know I can go past it.
You think you know, or you know?
Yeah.
Words matter.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, right. We got to be like, I don't doubt you in any way. I know it's possible. Whether or not you do it is ultimately going to be your choice.
Right.
So 50 million of revenue in 10 years. How much profit are we making?
I'd like to be at 20%.
You'd like to be, or you're going to be?
I will be.
See, it's not that hard, right?
Yeah. Habits.
And so 10 years from now, 32 years old, making $10 million a year, how will that change your life?
I'll live somewhere else, you know.
Meaning like in a different part of the country, different part of the world, different house?
I don't think I want to stay in New Jersey forever. You know, I'll live somewhere else, but I think day to day I'll feel the same. I feel, you know, I'm in a very good spot right now. I do everything that I want to do. I wake up and I want to work out. I work out. I want to go to work. I go work. You know, I think I'll be doing the same thing.
So you don't think your life changes at all if you make $10 million a year?
Maybe how I feel a little bit, like kind of validated.
I bet you your girlfriend thinks her life would change a little bit if you made $10 million a year. I bet you if I was asking her, she'd have a different answer to this.
Yeah.
But I want you to understand why I'm doing this, because I think that, and then we can talk about that. But I'm trying to make it real for you.
Yeah.
And I think you're not being honest with yourself if you say that your life doesn't change making $10 million a year versus making, $400 a week. And I think that is disingenuous even to yourself to pretend that your life isn't going to change at all. Money ultimately is just a tool that really allows you to spend your time in a way that, you choose to spend your time. I mean, it's like a private jet, for instance, is a awful investment from there is no person who can truly justify, the incremental cost of flying in a private jet versus going commercial or whatnot. I mean, but why do you do it? Well, it ultimately is a tool that allows you to be more productive, but really to spend more time doing the things that you really want to be spending your time doing.
Right.
And those are the biggest ways that my life has changed. Is like as I have grown as an entrepreneur, I get to choose how I spend my time and ultimately choose how I'm going to have the highest impact on the things that I choose to have a high impact on, right? And, I think that, so for me, when I if I was answering the same question in 10 years from now, it's not about the things. It's not about, the having a bigger house or being able to fly private, but those things represent the impact that you're able to have and the life you're able to lead and the way that you're able to raise a family, or the way that you're able to have experiences with your family, and or the ways that you're able to give back to the world in the ways that are important to you, right? I mean, those are all the ways that money can impact your life. And the reason why this thought exercise is so important for you or for anyone, in my opinion, is that if you really want to commit fully to a goal, you have to put yourself in the shoes of how am I going to feel when I get there? Why am I doing this? Why am I setting off on this journey? And the clearer that you have your why, I think the higher the probability that you're actually going to be able to become the person that you're looking to become.
Yeah, I agree.
And so if you really believe that your life is not going to change making $400 a week versus $10 million a year, if you truly believe that, then I don't see how you're going to put yourself in the mindset to be able to take the pain it's going to take to be able to go from selling $1 million to $10 million a year of these things.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Because my guess is that you don't wake up every day and say, I want to do this just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. Yeah.
So how do you think your life is going to change if you make $10 million a year?
My family. I really want to have, a solid family. I want to have a lot of property. But I really want to be able to make an impact, sort of leave a legacy behind kind of thing, make an impact on people and, the world and humanity. And that, I guess, you'd have more, ability to do that the more money you have. So that's a big one for me. It's really about family for me, though. I want to, be able to take care of my parents when they're older and, my sister too. I've always kind of, had this idea of, making sure she's always good.
Okay, so that's your why. What is it going to take for you to basically 10 times your business in the next 5 years? That's your first hurdle, right? Like you said, to go from about $1 million a year to $10 million a year.
Right.
That would get you to making about $1.5 million a year in income, which would be very solid. What is that going to take?
Marketing. I think if we can I really believe if you can, 10x your leads, you can 10x your business.
Okay. So let's dig into that. What does an ideal customer for you look like?
OEM manufacturers that need custom components.
OEM manufacturers that make custom components. So
plastic or rubber.
So can you give me examples? Not necessarily, don't have to be company names, but give me an example of what that type of business looks like.
An equipment manufacturer might need a rubber gasket for a seal on a machine, and they might need $10,000 a month or something, stuff like that.
So do you have any idea how many of these types of businesses there are in the U.S.?
I have not looked into it.
Don't you think it may be something we should look into?
Yeah.
I think that's where I would start.
Yeah.
Knowing how big is this market? I mean, I'd imagine it's quite big. I mean, there are a lot of, machine shops and especially equipment manufacturers. A lot of them, I couldn't tell you how many, but there have to be a lot. Do they go to, is there a particular trade show that these people hang out at?
I guess from the content and books that I've consumed, I think it's important to kind of narrow down our business, because I think we're, trying to do too many things. And we could probably go to any trade show in the world and find a company that, we can sell something to. And I don't really like being in that position, because there's no clear direction, if that makes sense. There's no exact thing to do, or,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about from a business model perspective, I grew up in a family that owned what would be called a job shop, which is basically specialty manufacturing that, not components like this, but maybe it'd be metal components that would be manufactured in that job shop. And so if you are a company, like a wire drawing company was one of their big customers, that has machines that maybe a part breaks and they need a part, then they will call up and say, hey, I need this manufactured, and you turn it around and so that their machines can go back up. And so I liken, it's different industry, but there's very similar, they're similar qualities. And the problem that a business like yours has is that you're by definition the middleman, and you're a component that, my guess is that, they could go to anybody, or they could go directly to the factory and have this manufactured. And my instinct with a business like yours, and I'm going to be clear, doesn't mean that you cannot have a big business doing this. I mean, my guess is that you would need to really think about the engineering component and the, and also the sales component of that. But my instinct goes to, you want to figure out how to make a product line yourself.
That's one of the notes I wrote down is that, is it maybe not the best business model to, work off of long term, because anybody can do it. At least what we're doing now, anybody can do it. There's nothing, proprietary about what we're doing, and you basically just need a laptop to do what we're doing. And I'm a little nervous about it because, not saying that I can't pivot, down the road or whatever, but I am a little worried about it long term. How big can the business get? But I don't want to say I find an excuse to not grow it or something.
How I would think about it is is there a product line that you can build using the expertise that you have while continuing to service the customer base that you have?
It's definitely crossed my mind, because I just think it would be a better business to be in. I think it would be very easy for us to, just make a product of our own and, source it and that sort of thing. And, we don't have to manufacture it, right away or whatever. But it would be very easy for us to, get something like that. And we have a little bit of, engineering experience together. But
I guess that at its most simple level, when I ask you, what's keeping you from doing this, your answer is marketing. I would argue that before you can say it's marketing, you have to have a product to sell. And so if I ask you to define what is the product that you sell, how would you define that?
I would say we're essentially a broker for deals or for getting custom components, plastic or rubber components. I think it's more of a service, because a lot of the times these buyers, they don't want to, we communicate with, companies overseas overnight, you know what I mean? Or late at night and early in the morning, because they're not awake. And, they'd rather deal with somebody that is in America. To give you an example, one of our bigger customers had defects with the parts that were sent to them. And we don't typically drop ship, but in this case, the products have been good for a while that we were able to just send them directly to them. But they had bad parts, and they basically sent it to us to, perform quality control, fix the parts, and then send them back. And I think that's more of the value that we provide, because a lot of times you'll have quality issues with, very cheap parts from overseas, and we offer, quality control for every part, that we ship out, and we get everything mostly sent to our shop, and we inspect everything, and then we ship it out. So I think that's the value that we provide, so we're not just drop shipping, whereas we're just purely middleman.
Yeah. So I understand, but then the question becomes, if you are going to be the, reliable source for rubber and plastic components, how are we going to find more customers that have demand for that? If you want to be in that service business, how are we going to find more customers that need that service?
Physically, how are what are we?
What is your plan? What is the plan? I'm trying to.
I really like Facebook ads. I just 2 weeks ago, I just got my hands wet or my feet wet with it. Using AI I basically had AI walk me through, it created the landing page for me, created the submission form with a PDF download, and then it walked me through setting up a Facebook account. And I was literally just screenshotting my screen and uploading it back into Claude. And it was, it was click here, do this. I think Facebook ads are cool because you can target by job title. And you can, purchasing manager, buyer, sourcing analyst, that sort of thing. And you can only...
Don't you think these people are more likely to be hanging out on LinkedIn for this type of stuff?
I do. Claude actually steered me away from LinkedIn to start, and it said the cost per click on Facebook is a lot cheaper, so you can do something.
Price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like I must say, when I hear your business description, my head doesn't go, Facebook advertising is the answer for this.
Yeah.
I think I have a pretty hard time seeing how. I have a pretty hard time. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it seems pretty. I think that the probability that somebody scrolling LinkedIn sees one of your ads, or one of Claude's ads, I guess in your case, and says, "Oh, yes, you know what? I've been looking for another specialty component broker. I'm going to call Matt." I think that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah. The idea was to edit the ad until it got some conversions on Facebook, and then bring it over to LinkedIn, once you had something that was more likely to work.
So have you had any conversions?
I've not had one. I've had 200 landing page views as of this morning. Been doing $15 a day, but it started at the end of last week because we had some the payment got blocked by the bank or whatever. So it took a few days to get going. But yeah, 202 as of this morning, landing page views, no conversions yet.
For a young guy like you, if I were in your shoes, well, I guess I'll start with a question. When's the last time you went to visit your customers?
This morning. Yeah, I dropped off some parts to a local customer this morning.
Are most of your customers local?
No, just by chance, this one.
But walk me through how often you're in front of them.
We're really only there because it's so easy for us to drive, to just drop off the parts rather than shipping them. It's 10 minutes away.
But how about the other customers?
That's what I'm saying. Not really.
Have you ever been to visit them?
I've not personally, no.
Do you think that some of these customers might have other parts that you could source for them?
Absolutely.
What do you think about going and visiting all of your customers in person, thanking them for your business?
I like it.
For their business, asking them if there's anything else you can help them with.
I like it.
I think that will have how do you think that will compare to your Facebook advertising strategy?
I think it'd be a lot better.
Why haven't you done it?
I've not thought of it.
Well, that's where I would start. And what does that do? Not only does it give you potentially new business, maybe solidifies the business that you have, but my hunch is that it will lead to other ideas that you may have, say, well, you want to go and target people on Facebook, but you don't really understand the people that are buying from you in the first place today. So how are you going to go and target those people if you don't even know what you're targeting?
I see what you're saying. Get a better idea of who the buyer is.
That's where I would start, and understand what problem you're really solving for them.
Yeah.
Why are they doing business with you? So you can understand how, what service you're providing, so you know how to go out and sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm going to do it.
I mean, I think that, and you shouldn't do that just once. That should be regular.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, your job as a business person in any business is to add value, right? I mean, you ultimately, my belief is that you get paid in business relative to the value that you can create. Ultimately, that's going to correlate, right? And so, if you're looking to grow a business, you want to say, how can I, Matt, offer the maximum value to all of my customers? And so if I'm going into this conversation, I would, set it up, say, hey, can I take you out to lunch, or can I come in and meet with you? I just want to thank you for your business. But then how you do that is you go in and you say, hi, customer, we never met in person before, and I just wanted you to know that I'm now the CEO of Alpine, and kind of taking over from my dad, and I really want to establish a long-term partnership with you, and I just wanted to make sure that we were providing you the value that you need, and hear from you if you have any feedback for me or what I can do to be a better partner for you, right? And then listen.
Yeah.
And then be open to what they have to say.
It's exciting. It's cool to have an actionable item. I guess it's what I was looking for, just direction, because half of me doesn't believe in the ads, and I know it can work.
Facebook ads is not the answer to your problems.
All right.
It's just it's a waste of time and energy.
Okay.
How can you create a Facebook ad without even knowing what your ideal customer looks like? And how can you have a hope of knowing what your ideal customer looks like if you don't even know what your current customers really look like, what they really do?
Yeah.
What I would do is go in with curiosity mind, saying, I just want to understand, what you do and how we can help you, and let them, like, hopefully you'll get to the point where they want to show you around their business, tell you about their business and everything that they're doing. And then light bulb will hopefully go off in your head saying, oh, I can help you with this.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you're developing that new product. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how you grow a business.
Okay.
Because then once you do that, then you'll understand the type of companies that you can bring value to. And then you say, hey, there's a lot of demand for this product in this particular X industry. Well, then that's how you're going to then go and look up other people in that industry, and then you start making sales calls on those people and say, hey, I'm helping your competitor over here. Maybe I'd love to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe you realize that there's one specific industry that uses a lot of this stuff that you understand well, and they're having a trade show, and then you can go and meet them all in person. And you can do it from a place of understanding what it is that you do and what kind of value you have, because you also understand the industry now, so you can, say, hey, I've been doing this for your competitors. I'd love to help you.
You make it sound so simple.
It is simple.
Yeah.
But you got to go out and do it.
Yeah. I will.
What other problems are you dealing with? I mean, that's your answer. I mean, you can't you can't even really have more of a discussion until you do that, to be honest with you, because you don't know enough about what you even do to be able to talk about what happens next. So that's why that's the starting point.
Yeah.
What other challenges do you have?
The manufacturing versus the trade stuff.
You say manufacturing is 15% of your revenue,
right?
So I mean, you don't have a problem. It's obvious,
right? Basically, the only reason we have an employee and the machines we have are for that one customer.
Do they buy anything else from you?
They buy 6 different parts that are just different sizes of one thing.
That you manufacture all of those?
Yeah.
Have you looked at that's $150,000 a year of revenue?
Right.
Do they buy anything else, or it's just those parts that you manufacture?
Like, does the company itself?
Meaning like if you did not manufacture those parts, are you going to lose any other business, is what I'm asking.
Oh, no.
So that's 15% of your business.
Right.
Is that business in and of itself profitable?
It's just over break even.
What do you think the rational thing to do is?
Get rid of it.
There you have it. The only thing I'll say, I think that you have no choice. I think that it's just a waste of energy and probably capital and whatnot at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm just going off of what you're telling me, but I mean that if what you just told me is true, then that's obvious. Well, the only caveat I will give that makes me nervous, that's definitely a lever for potential value add if you're out there and like you haven't even gone in and done the work to understand what your customers need. And if your customers say, hey, we really need this that you can do there, then maybe there is an opportunity. So like, I don't know that whether or not there is an opportunity with that or not, because we haven't really taken it to the extreme yet. But on its surface, my guess is that it's a distraction.
Yeah, it's a big cash flow burden for us because just the demand can't keep up with, the amount of material that we have to buy. So, we'll basically be in the hole for 3 months and then we'll come out of it, just barely breaking even. It's a tough, manufacturing to me is like obviously you'll know better than me, but it's just about like maximizing efficiency, and we can't really do that because the volume's just so low. Without having a consistent product line, I think it's very tough. So my gut is that you already know the answer and you just have to do it.
Okay. Walk me through the thing that I worry about with your business that I'm kind of surprised we haven't touched on, but you did there a little bit, is 10 times the business today that you currently have. Would you have the cash to fund it? Meaning magically, if I just 10 times your business.
No, not on either side, on the import, export, or the manufacturing.
Yeah, well, in the import export is what I'm talking about, and like, so your $1 million of revenue. Walk me through like your receivables, your inventory, like your kind of balance sheet.
Our average receivable is around $50,000.
That's not as bad as I would have thought, because that's like that. So like you don't give customers 30-day terms. For bigger orders, we do a lot of deposits. We negotiate a lot of deposits, and sometimes we can't take on a job unless we get a deposit, obviously. Yeah.
But our biggest customer, we have net 10 terms, which has been a huge help, obviously. But to your point, we have to pay for everything up front.
Yeah, I mean, and you're putting it on the water, which is generally like a 45-day.
Yeah, I'd say probably 40% of the stuff we get is going overseas. The rest is by air.
And so like how much inventory are you holding as a business?
We'll just order a little bit extra for each order, and that's it, and then it basically just fills any, defects or scraps that we have from the customer or on our end when we're doing quality control.
Do you think there's any opportunity as you grow as a business that you order more, you stock it, and you're able to increase your margins?
Yes, of course. We're also at the mercy of their, when they order stuff. A lot of times, like, for this customer, for example, they've got 20 different parts and, they might only need one order of the parts, once or twice a year. And then, every part kind of the same, but at different timelines. If you're buying the inventory with profit, yes. And then you can, get more stuff into a C shipment and stuff like that. But we also can't say for sure when they're going to order it next.
You think going and visiting them and talking with them about it might give you a little more information?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, like how you grow these businesses, the service that you're providing, in my opinion, is you generally buy in bulk, you inventory it for your customer, and then you release it to them as they need it, but you're able to charge a premium for offering that service. And I think that people that do this well at scale are effectively doing that. But it becomes you have to have the capital to be able to do that. But it's like, my guess is that if you buy, just saying numbers, if you normally buy 100 of these at a time, if you were to buy 1,000, that you probably could get a significant discount, buying it a lot cheaper. But if you can keep your inventory and getting and releasing it, but charging a higher profit margin, my guess is that over time, that's a much better business model.
Like the distributor, yeah.
I mean, I think that is the service that you ultimately are providing.
Okay.
It helps what would be most helpful is if you go out and you find, hey, there's this one component that there are 50 manufacturers that use it, and I'm going to sell this component to all 50 manufacturers. That's what you want to find. But you're going to only go do that by going and talking to people. But like that's what you're going to ultimately find.
Yeah, because we have none of that. We don't sell anything to two different customers.
Yeah. Common sense tells you that there are certain parts that a lot of people are using. And so your job is to go out and hunt for those. Okay. And then you buy in bulk and then you release to those customers as you need it. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I were going and visiting customers, that's what I would be looking for. I would be laser focused on like, are there things that these people are doing that somebody else is doing so that then I can sell the same thing to multiple people?
Yeah. I've never even considered that.
That's where you'll find there's money, is in doing that.
Man, so much to think about.
Anything else you want to go over, or you think that's enough value for you today? I mean,
well,
I mean, like that's the answer. I mean, I don't know how to help you actually anymore until you do that. But if there's anything else you want to go over, I'm happy to do it.
No, I think, really what I wanted to get is, an actionable item. And I think I know what I'm doing for the next couple of months.
Yeah. Well, your girlfriend's in the room with us, and she heard that you're going to be making $10 million a year at the age of 32.
She's excited.
And so, I think that maybe she will hold you accountable. I hope she holds you accountable to that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be pretty disappointed if you don't make that happen. Are you nervous about it?
No, I think, I really think I can do anything.
So what's our homework?
Figure out what my avatar is that I'm selling to. Go visit these customers and go to each one, figure out what they need, and see if I can find something that I can sell to multiple customers.
I would reframe it a little bit of start building a relationship with your customers so that you can figure out how to add more value to them, which ultimately will manifest in these things. But that's really what I want to see you do. So a year from now, we're having this discussion. What, if we have you on again, what can we expect to see a year from now? What would be some signs? What would be some signs that we're heading in the right direction?
Well, the first thing I would have done is go visit all my customers and really figure out who I'm selling to. And in a year, I'd like to have, some success with getting a few more of those customers.
And so like, what do you think your revenue will be a year from now?
$2 million.
$2 million. Making like $300,000 a year on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have you on in a year. And if you haven't done that, then we're going to have to question some of your goal setting abilities.
I'm excited.
The other thing I really do think is like, and I talk to this with almost everybody, but I find it so helpful for me, and that's why I keep coming back to it. But I really do think spending time really thinking about and internalizing what your life 10 years from now looks like, and 20 years from now. I mean, you're such a young guy. The more that you can really visualize and understand like what it is that you're aiming for, especially given you talk about how goal-oriented you are, well, like let's really get real about what that goal looks like. Like what is it that you're working for?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, the more specific you can be about that, and it's not like money is just the exhaust of all this stuff, right? But it's like, like what is it that you really want your life to look like?
Yeah.
And, the more real that is for you, the higher the probability of you achieving it.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the biggest problems people have is they say that they want all these things. And a lot of times people will come in here and say they have a big number that they want to go after. And then you ask them why, and, because it sounds good, or it sounds good on social media or whatever. But, they haven't really answered for themselves what that means. And I think that really, answering that for yourself will give you that goal to work for. That's the other piece of homework I would give you, is to really be honest with that, because you haven't taken the time to do that. If you think your life doesn't change between now and then, right? I mean, it's like, but you have to really define, like, and so maybe it's just a mental image and a feeling of how that makes you feel. But like, what does retiring your parents really look like, right? Like what does that mean? What does that mean for your relationship, or like what is like a happy family life look like for you? Visualizing that, I think that the clearer you can be on that, the higher the probability of you getting that.
Okay.
Whereas if it's just you set a goal for the sake of setting a goal, then you may get there and forget why you were doing it in the first place, and not going to do you any good. Yeah. Okay, Matt. Anything else we need to talk about? I'm good. I feel really good. I'm excited. Okay. Well, we'll see in a year. I want to update. I want to know, if you're really if you're all hat and no cattle, or if you really are the real deal. I'm counting on you going and figuring it out. Thank you. Okay.